Hey everybody, in my previous video I counted down the overall top 10 most expensive Pokemon cards on PTCGO. Today I'm going to be looking at the top 10 most expensive competitive cards that you need to buy in order to be competitive in both standard and expanded, and I won't be accounting for rarity, so if a card is really expensive as a rainbow rare and not that expensive as, a non-holo, I won't count it. It is the lowest rarity is what I'm basing it on. I'll start with 5 cards in Expanded and then move to the 5 in Standard, and just like my previous video, the pack values are going to be in Darkness Ablaze, and those are around 45 cents US each from online stores, so if a card is worth 10 packs, then you'll need to spend $4.50 or win a few in-game events to be able to get it. With that in mind, let's get started. Once a card that used to be well over 30 packs, Tapulele GX from Guardians Rising has fallen on some hard times since rotating. Down to just 3 packs, it still has a place in Expanded because of its ability, Wonder Tag. Wonder Tag lets you plop down a Tapulele GX, then just go and get a supporter from your deck. It's great at the start of a game to help you out of a nothing hand, and it's also great at the end of a game to help you find that game-winning Guzma. And it can also attack in a pinch with Energy Drive doing 20 damage times the amount of energy attached to both active Pokemon, though it isn't affected by weakness or resistance. And then there's also Tapu Cure. For a single Psychic Energy, you can heal all damage from 2 of your bench Pokemon. Despite how good it is, Tapulele GX actually isn't the only Pokemon with the ability to go and get you a supporter from your deck. At number 4 is Jirachi EX, which is around 6 packs right now and has the exact same ability as Tapulele GX, though it's known as Stellar Guidance. Back in the day when Tapulele first came out, nobody played Jirachi EX because it only has 90 hit points, doesn't have a good attack, and it's just a 2-prize liability, whereas Tapulele has 170 hit points and can attack. But with the arrival of Scoop Up Net this year, let's see if I can pull it up, with the arrival of Scoop Up Net, Jirachi EX just becomes so much better. With Scoop Up Net, you can drop the Jirachi, get a supporter, then put it back into your hand out of harm's way. So long as Scoop Up Net is legal and expanded, Jirachi EX is a great card to have, and just like Tapulele, you can get away with only having one, though I would recommend the Shaman EX over Tapulele because Scoop Up Net cannot get Pokemon V or Pokemon GX, so that's where the advantage of having an EX comes into play. You're probably sensing a theme right now. Ability Pokemon that help you play the game have high value and expanded, and Shaman EX from Roaring Skies is the best, costing around 15 packs. With the ability setup, when you play this Pokemon from your hand onto your bench, you may draw cards until you have 6 cards in your hand. Even before Scoop Up Net came out, this was amazing, and with the arrival of Rebel Clash and Scoop Up Net, it's even better. The obvious downside to Shaman is that it only has 110 HP, but between Scoop Up Net and its attack that lets you put it back into your hand, the playability of the card is high, and you should expect to buy at least 2, if not 4 of them. At number 2 is Dowsing Machine, which is an amazing item card that costs around 18 to 22 packs depending on the seller. And since you can only have one A-Spec in your deck, you only need to buy 1 of these. With this card, you can get back any trainer card from your discard pile, giving you endless options towards the end of a game. And it's all at the cost of just 2 cards from your hand, so you get rid of 2 cards from your hand, you play Dowsing Machine, you can get back a Max Elixir, you can get back a Guzma, you can get back a Sycamore, you can get back any trainer card just to help you further yourself in the game. Despite how good Dowsing Machine is and how hard it is to find, the number 1 card is the only thing keeping it from being played in every single deck. Coming in at number 1 in Expanded is, you probably guessed it, Computer Search from Boundaries Crossed, which is around 40 to 45 packs right now. Another A-Spec, and as you can maybe read if you tilt your head, you can't have more than 1 A-Spec card in your hand, so you can't play Computer Search and Dowsing Machine at the same time, so you have to pick 1 and you can only have 1. With Computer Search, it lets you discard 2 cards from your hand, then go get any card from your deck. It can be a Pokemon, it can be an energy, it can be a trainer, it can be anything that you want. It's a very simple and very powerful effect, and this is an absolute must for every deck in Expanded. And the only reason you would play Dowsing Machine is if you play a very item-heavy deck and you like to play cards from your discard. So Dowsing Machine is good, but Computer Search is just so much better. And if you were playing the PTCGO a long time ago and you were lucky enough to get one of these for free back when it was on the Versus Rewards ladder, you don't have to go searching for one. For everyone else, unfortunately, you'll have to spend the packs to add it to your collection. Switching gears to standard, at number 5 we have Boss's Orders from Rebel Clash. Even though a non-holo version was included in the trainer's toolkit, there's the holo, there's the non-holo, there's the full art, there's the rainbow rare. I'll just be talking about the holo one. But even though it was included in that trainer's toolkit, the card has begun to climb back up in price, and now it's upward of 5 packs for both the holo and non-holo version, though the non-holo is slightly cheaper. Part of the reason why it's priced so high for a trainer card is because holo rares are always tough to find in sets, but most importantly, it's a guaranteed gust effect, letting you target any Pokemon on your opponent's side of the field, and it is the reason why so many games end in such a heartbreaking fashion. I think 4 copies of Boss's Orders is a little bit much, and 3 is a safe bet, but you're probably going to want to have 4 just in case, but you can definitely get by with 3. And in rare cases, sometimes 2, because you also have Eldegoss V in standard. Eldegoss V, you just put that down, you get a supporter card from your discard, so I'll leave it up to you, but I would recommend 3 at the very least. Remember what I said about holo rares being tough to pull? Well, that's one of the main reasons Rosa is on this list. Despite the card also being included in pre-release kits, I think with Cosmic Eclipse, there was a non-holo version, but even with that pre-release version, it is still very expensive. While it's only 4 packs right now, and that's less than Boss's Orders, I wanted to give Rosa an honorable mention on the list because if one of your Pokemon was knocked out in the previous turn, Rosa lets you search your deck for a Pokemon, a basic energy, and a trainer card. It's amazing consistency, especially for non-GX and non-V decks, so if you're playing something like, say, Decidueye Obstagoon, you'll need 4 copies of Rosa, and it's not like it's a cheap card. But unlike something like Boss's Orders that just fits into every single deck, Rosa is deck specific, so again, this is an honorable mention. It doesn't quite belong on the list, and it'll be up to you whether you play it. You know, a Welder deck doesn't want it, Eternatus doesn't want it, no VMAX deck really wants Rosa. It is mostly just for single prize decks like Decidueye Obstagoon. You can play, I probably wouldn't suggest playing Spiritomb unless you're just playing a regular Darkness Energy version of it. But if you have that single prize deck and you're looking for a card to just put you over the top and get you over that hump, Rosa is definitely something to look out for. Earlier this year, a single copy of Jirachi would cost you 30 packs. Then the Pokemon Company decided to bring out the Pikachu and Zekrom Lead Battle deck, and that has 4 non-holo copies of it, and all of a sudden the price plummeted to where you see it now at around 5 packs each. You'll also need 4 copies of Scoop Up Net to use it properly, and those are typically sold, to get a playset of Scoop Up Net, to get 4 copies, you're going to need to spend about 2 Darkness Ablaze packs, so I'd factor that into the price as well. But thanks to Scoop Up Net, Jirachi is still good in standard, even without a skateboard, and it just lets you look at the top 5 cards of your deck and take any trainer from there. The downside is that Jirachi goes to sleep, but even then, it's great consistency for decks that have the space, and although 2 of the next 3 cards on the list are better in most ways, Jirachi will always have a place in some decks until it rotates in August, and if you're playing a deck with Jirachi, why go for anything less than 4? Just like how Jirachi saw a price drop thanks to the Lead Battle deck, Dengeki GX saw a massive price drop this year thanks to the Trainer's Toolkit. Now sitting at 7 to 8 packs depending on which art you want, down from a previous high of 45, Dengeki GX is something you need at least 2 copies of, and probably 3 or 4 if you're building a Mewtwo and Mew deck, and it's not tough to see why. You plop this card down onto your bench, you discard your hand, and you draw 6 cards. It's ultimate consistency, though it does come at the cost of your hand, which can definitely suck at times if you've watched any of my other videos. Still, you need this card to be competitive, just be careful when playing against something like ADP, because they only have to knock out 2 of these to win the game. That's definitely the negative side of Dengeki GX. It is susceptible to Great Catcher, and ADP after Alter Creation can knock it out for 3 prizes, but the alternative is that you don't play Dengeki and you're just relying on your opening hand and your top decks and you're just hoping, whereas with Dengeki, you can play your 4 copies of Quick Ball, you can play 2, 3, 4 Dengeki, you just increase your chances of being able to play the game, and it's just one of the things you have to do to just play the Pokemon trading card game is put some of these liabilities into your deck. The second place finisher in Standard, Zation V, might seem like an odd choice at first, but countless decks can take advantage of Intrepid Sword, even decks that don't play Metal Energy. Coming in at around 14 packs, Zation V lets you end a bad turn by drawing 3 cards, potentially bailing you out of a tough situation. The only downside with Intrepid Sword is that your turn ends, but if your turn was just going to end normally without you attacking or doing anything meaningful, why not draw 3 cards? And if you are playing a metal deck, there's a chance that you could get, 1, 2, or 3 metal energy and just attach them straight to Zation V, and that is just extremely powerful. Not only that, but Zation V can't be targeted with Great Catcher, it works with Air Balloon, and unlike Dedenne, you can use Intrepid Sword, you can use that ability turn after turn. It's not a one-time deal and you're done. You can use Intrepid Sword turn after turn after turn. And not only is the ability good for just furthering attacking decks, and not only is Brave Blade an amazing attack, Intrepid Sword is one of the reasons why stall decks were so dominant before rotation, and it's also why ADP and Lucario Melmetal are so strong right now. I would highly recommend 4 copies of Zation V, but with the Zation V League Battle deck in November, the price will take a huge nosedive then. So I think if you can wait until November 20th, do it, because you will save a lot of packs in the long run. At number 1 is Crobat V from Darkness Ablaze. Unlike some of the other cards in this list, it hasn't been printed in other products yet, so the price is still quite high at 18 packs, and it might go even higher as the year drags on. While the ability Dark Asset is the exact same as Shaman EX, letting you draw to 6 cards in your hand, you can only use 1 Crobat V ability per turn. But even with that caveat, it's a great ability Pokemon to help you draw cards, and it lets you get further into your deck on turn 1, and since you can only use 1 Dedenne and 1 Crobat, they just work perfectly in the same deck. You'll definitely want 2 copies of Crobat V, unless you're building an Eternatus VMAX deck, then you'll want 4. And if you're building a competitive deck in Standard right now, your best bet is to just throw 2 Crobat V and 2 Dengeki GX in there, and you'll just make your consistency so much better. And being a V Pokemon, Crobat can't be targeted with Great Catcher, but again, it's still in range of Arceus Dialga Palkia, so you have to be aware of that. But again, it's a necessary evil. You need to play this to just make sure you don't just lose a game because you have no playable cards. So I would recommend 2 copies of Crobat V. I think 3 is a little much, but again, if you're playing an Eternatus VMAX deck, you need 4 of them, and it is just amazing in that deck. And that does it. Those were the top 10 most expensive competitive cards in Standard and Expanded in 2020. If I missed any cards, please let me know in the comments, and feel free to mention which card from Vivid Voltage, coming out I think November 13th, let me know which card from that set you think will be the most expensive. For now, thank you for watching, and please consider subscribing because I need to get 1,000 subscribers as fast as possible, and it's a lot tougher than you might think. I'll see you tomorrow with another helpful Pokemon TCG video about which sets you should buy and open, and yeah, I'll see you then.